Since it's 4th of July, I do want to mention that we're going to have the big Independence Day 4th of July celebration here in Henderson on the riverfront on the Water Street from 5:30 to 9:30 p.m. There will be fireworks, children's activities, and music entertainment right here downtown Henderson. And I do want to mention this too because I think this is important. You can get up early in the morning and you can do the Firecracker 5K in Seabury at their Springs Park, and then you can come down Henderson and enjoy the 4th of July
That's right, and
celebration.
we invite everybody to come down and enjoy that. But if you are a home consumer of fireworks, we want to stress that you be safe with that. We actually caught up with Julie Heckman, who is the executive director of the American Pyrotechnics Association. We wanted to find out a little bit more about her, what she does in the American Pyrotechnics Association, the people that make up fireworks, and also how to be safe on 4th of July.
I came into the pyrotechnics business in 1988. I was actually working with a law firm, and the APA became a client, and I then became a designated staff person to handle all of the regulatory issues and deal with some of the safety messaging and public relations.
Oh, wonderful. What fascinates you about the pyrotechnic business?
Well, beyond the fascination of fireworks themselves bursting in the sky, which I don't think there's anything more exciting or entertaining to experience, I love the people who make up the fireworks industry. The majority of the professional display companies are fourth, fifth, sixth generation family businesses. And so it's really delightful to work with people that have their lives, their families invested in this industry.
Oh, that's fascinating. Do you know what kind of planning goes into making a show?
Oh, designing and scripting a show takes many days and many hours, depending on whether it's computer or electronically fired versus the old school hand firing. And believe it or not, there's still a lot of pyrotechnicians out there that want to use the flare or fusee and hand light those shells because of the rush they get out of firing them.
Oh,
But
that's
the
awesome.
majority of big shows are all choreographed now, and they're fired electronically. And so that takes a lot of planning and scripting with the computers to basically visualize the sky as your canvas and the fireworks or the products as your palette. And they design these shows based on knowing the precise performance of each product and at what height it will actually burst, and the width of the spread of that firework, so they can decide what goes beside it, above it, and below it.
Oh, that's incredible. I can't imagine the kind of planning that goes into it. I've always equated it to an art form.
It is art. Every one of these designers or choreographers, they're an artist, and typically they're an artist outside of the industry as well. Many of them are musicians, Juilliard scholars, painters, photographers, excellent vocalists. There's a lot of talent in this industry.
Oh, that's incredible. So what's the nuts and bolts of a firework? What makes them different? And you talked about they know how big a firework's going to be before they blow it off, so to speak, before they set it off. How do they know that? What kind of goes into that thinking?
Well, working with the factories, and each shell will burst at a different height based on its size. So a 3-inch shell generally will burst about 300 feet in the air. A 5-inch shell would be 500 feet, and so on, per the size of the shell. Some of them based on a secondary effect. You might have a multi-break shell. So the first break might be a pretty chrysanthemum shape, and then there might be a second break of that same shell that will send out things that resemble little bees.
Like the little fizzle that I hear after a firework sometimes.
Yeah, a crackle.
Well,
A crackle or a fizzle.
There you go. Okay. Now, what's your personal favorite firework?
Oh, I have two. So, and I get to see a lot. Many that we don't get to see that often in the majority of the shows here. My favorite is something called a girandola, the girandola. And basically it is a wheel-type device that rises from the ground, and it kind of they look like little Pac-Men racing up to the sky.
Oh, my.
It's really, really awesome. My second one is a device called I have to say it with an Italian accent because that's how all the Italian people say it, a farfalla. And that is basically an Italian shell that resembles a butterfly when it breaks.
Oh, that would be beautiful to watch.
Tell us where
Well,
you're, I'm sorry, you can hear me. Can you tell us where you're located and what your organization does?
Well, the American Pyrotechnics Association is located in Bethesda, Maryland, which is, just right outside of Washington, D.C., and we are the National Trade Association for the firework industry. And so we promote safety standards for all aspects of fireworks. And our members include manufacturers, importers, distributors, wholesalers, retailers, and professional display companies.
oh, cool. And I read on your website that you do a lot of advocacy work with fireworks. Can you talk to us about sort of the safety that people, if you're going to be a home consumer of fireworks, what kind of safety precautions do they need to take into consideration?
Well, if you're going to celebrate with backyard fireworks this 4th of July, first and foremost, obey your local law. Know what is permissible. Even though the state laws may allow consumer fireworks, often there will be some level of municipal or local restrictions. So we encourage you to pay attention to those. When you purchase your fireworks, it's really important that you read the instructions and the cautionary warnings so that you understand how that firework is going to perform. All fireworks will have that type of warning on it, such as emits a spray of sparks or shoots flaming balls, meaning it's going to be an aerial device if it's shooting something. So you need to take that into consideration when you're planning your activity. You should only light one firework at a time. They're exciting enough. Don't try to light more than one. That's usually when something goes wrong. You want to keep your spectators at a safe distance. You should wet down the grass and have a garden hose or a bucket of water handy just in case. You should never let young children handle or play with fireworks. And this is true for even sparklers because sparklers burn at very hot temperatures. Older children should be closely supervised. And don't let them run around with sparklers because it's too easy to catch someone's clothes on fire. And we would recommend that after the sparkler's finished, emitting all of its sparks, to put that hot wire in a bucket of water because the wire stick remains hot for a long time, and we'd hate to see somebody, burn their foot by stepping on it as they run around the backyard. You should always have a sober, responsible adult in charge of all firework activities. Again, we're playing with things that burn, so you really need to be responsible and follow common sense. It's also important that you light them on a flat, level surface. So if your backyard is the intended area to discharge your fireworks, it makes sense to put down a piece of sturdy plywood and use that as the base for where you light the fireworks so they don't tip over. It's also important to keep your pets inside. The noise from fireworks often is painful for animals' ears, so we recommend you keep your pets inside and maybe turn on the television or some nice music for them so that they're not distracted by the booms and crackles and whistles.
Well, that sounds wonderful. Those are words to live by in these times. We know a lot of our listeners are going to hopefully go out and celebrate or go down to our riverfront where we're going to have a show. Miss Heckman, where are you going to celebrate 4th of July? Are you going to see any fireworks this 4th of July?
I am planning to be in New York City, so yes, I will see some fireworks this 4th of July.
Wonderful.
That's great. I'm actually going to be in Washington, D.C., so I'm excited.
That's great. They're switching up the show this year. I've heard that they're actually going to be able to do some lower level effects and not make it what we call in the industry just a vertical show. It's a really hard landscape to work with all those monuments and the Capitol there.
Yeah, I'll be on the Capitol, so I'm really excited.
Oh, very good. I think you'll enjoy it.
Good.
That was Julie Heckman, Executive Director of the American Pyrotechnics Association. It was very nice for her to catch up with us earlier this week. It's 11 o'clock right now on Jam.